Hey there, my name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today's topic is Built for Speed. Amazing line and an amazing song. The good Lord knows I was built for speed. This video is also a public service announcement of Wealth and Hellfare, which is a shout out to hip hop. If you know, you know. Regarding speeding tickets. So what prompted this video is Heather receiving $1,000 in speeding tickets. It's embarrassing to say, everybody. And it's not even a joke. I'm just laughing at how ridiculous I am. Lead foot much? So to be fair, the public service announcement piece in this, if you live in this great state of New Mexico, I don't know what they're doing in Texas friends, but they now have these machines that they've put on poles that will pop you for speeding if you drive past them. So you don't have to pass Popo to get a speeding ticket in the modern age. And they just happen to put one of these speeding trackers on a pole right past my lavanderia, right where I go to do laundry. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I forgot my hangers. And I'll whip right around this corner because my house is just a few blocks away to go grab my hangers. And clearly I've done that at least 9 times and didn't know that because my license was registered for my old address, that thing, every time you drive past it, it sends you a $100 speeding ticket. And it had sent 9 of them to my old address. And so I've updated my license. So now they can come directly to me. Delicious. I definitely don't drive on that street anymore. That's my solution. No, I've got a couple of solutions in place. But I got 9 of those. Plus I got a speeding ticket when I was driving to Texas or something. I was driving somewhere, long trip, got a speeding ticket. As a matter of fact, I had so many of them that I was driving to the mountain and a lovely police officer pulled me over. And she must have looked at the system and been like, this woman has a lead foot and it's never going to be resolved. Because she gave me a warning. That was when I was about to get my 11th speeding ticket. You guys, these streets aren't safe. I'm trying to warn you. No, so, I do have a bit of a lead foot. And I was going on a lovely dinner date tonight. This beautiful person is coming to my life. And we are getting to know each other, figuring out what our connection is. And I had a delightful time, had some lovely salmon. But on the drive there, I was very intentionally driving the speed limit, which to me is like a 37 and a 35 or a 42, 43 and a 40. That to me is driving the speed limit, and it feels very slow. So I think it'd be easy if you're somebody that drives super safe to receive all this information I just shared and think, what an idiot, or like, that's not okay. You should know that my mother was killed in a car accident, and she was killed by somebody that was speeding, and they ran a red light. And so I'm very familiar with the dangers of speeding. But just as I found to be true with other traumas, like, let's say, sexual assault, some people, as a result of sexual assault, may become frigid, and some may become wildly sexually overactive. Being assaulted or experiencing rape or sexual assault doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to become frigid or have a disconnect from sex. It can overactivate it. And I think, too, losing my mother as a result of someone speeding gave me some kind of teenage rebellion of like, none of it matters. We're all going to die. And I think I naturally have a bit of a lead foot. I was probably a race car driver in a couple of lifetimes because my brother has it too. That kind of runs in the blood somewhere. Maybe we got a grandpappy back there that really knew how to ride a bicycle. I don't know, but so there's a little bit of it in my family. But I think that I know that there is a rebellion in me too, having lost my mom that way, and I have to really work to rein that in. And so, even though I can see that I was built for speed, and that's true in a lot of ways. I mean, Sagittarius, Scorpio cusping sun, and, Leo, Cancer cusping moon, but really, I'm placed in fire, double fire sign. There's heat, there's passion, there's energy behind my movements. There's lots of fire. There's lots of energy that Heather has to pour into her existence. And that can be very helpful, especially when we have a large project or we need to get a lot of things done, or we need to get something organized, or we need to get something moving, or we need to have a lot of involvement and movement towards a project. Great. That's amazing. Not necessarily the best when I'm driving. Not always the best when I'm choosing a romantic partnership. And so, one of the things I've decided to do this year, I actually got off of Facebook dating because there's somebody I'm engaging with and I'm very singular in my attention and my focus. And so there's someone I'm just getting to know right now. But there's a hardcore tap on the brakes that's happening from Heather Feather. So if you're a very earth elemental person, a lot of Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn in your astrological zodiac, whether that's sidereal or tropical, whether that's Vedic or Western astrology. If you're somebody that has like the numbers 4 and the numbers 8 in your numerology, and you tend to be more earthly, you tend to be more grounded, you tend to be more practical. You saw this video and were like, whoa, slow down, lady, tap on the brakes. That's not safe. Oh, I'm familiar. Then this advice isn't for you. I'll say this piece of advice is not for you. For you, I'd say hit the gas. You know what I mean? Be spontaneous. Take a trip without planning it. Leave the planner at home and just be completely spontaneous. Go fly a kite right now. Go wild out. Because sometimes we can be too regimented, too coloring inside the lines, too exact and precise in following the rules. And it can behoove us to break out of that box a little bit because it can become a bit of a prison. But I've always been a little wild, flaily, color outside the line type of gal. Anyhow, let's just put the color all over the page. Lines? What lines? I don't believe in them on Earth School, and I don't believe in them in a coloring book, I don't really believe in these invisible lines. And I like for things to be really colorful. And because of that, because of my fiery nature, it really behooves me recognizing that there is a quickness, there's a tenaciousness, a tenacity in my frequency and my energy. There's a movement, there is an offering that is intensely present sometimes. It behooves me to slow down. It behooves me to tap on the brakes. And I'm really working to do this in a lot of different ways in my life. First of all, I won't be getting a speeding ticket in 2025 because Heather is going to immediately apply the lesson. You can trust that $1,000 hitting my finances all at one time was a shock. Like, oh my goodness. And I just happened to, when I got those $900 tickets in the mail all at once, I just happened to also have gotten one in the streets myself from a popo that popped me. So it was like, okay. Plus the cop giving me a warning. It was like, that was the moment where I was like, I hear you, spirit. I will slow down. I'm being ridiculous. This is clown college. You know what I mean? Like, thank you for the grace of the warning. And clearly I am participating in the driving of clown college instead of driving at Earth School. And so I drove slowly and I drove safely and it was fine. I'm never really in a hurry anyhow. I'm sovereign and my time is mine. But I'm slowing down with dating. I'm not quick to rush in. They say fools rush in for a reason. And I used to think, oh, that's ridiculous. Everyone's a fool anyhow, whether they rush in or slowly meander in. We're all a bunch of fools because we have egos and egos are foolish. However, I can tell you it's true. I've rushed into a lot of relationships. I assume the best of humans. I tend to, oh, okay, a love opportunity, let's go. And I many times have been like, oh, this is not at all. I mean, I see you spiritually, and spiritually you're amazing, but there's a huge dissociation between who you're being actually showing up as at Earth School and who you truly are in your inner kingdom and inner temple. And so I've had a lot of relationships I've had to extricate myself from or opt out of or no thank you, like thank you, no thank you, because it's not a match to what I seek. Not right or wrong, not good or bad, just not a match. However, it would have behooved me to tap on the brakes a little bit, to slow down a little bit, to weigh in and consider and really view, is this something that really tickles my fancy? Before I decide that it does, because I'm so easily tickled. I'm like, no, definitely everything tickles my fancy. This is fantastic. Before I decide that it does, because certainly it will, because I'm a very easily entertained person, I can really take time to observe it and make sure, though, is it really something that I really want to engage with? This can be true for friendship. This can be true for romantic relationships. This can be true for familial relationships, even work relationships. Any relationship, it can behoove us, if we are not already a very slow person, to slow down, to consider, to weigh. Jumping into a job. A lot of people stay in a job they're unhappy with because they got the job and I don't like the interview process and I'll just keep this miserable job, And it's like, well, maybe that would behoove us to slowly consider the job. It's not just, do you meet the employer's needs? Does the employer meet your needs? There are times when I'm in a job and I'm like, do I want to do office work? Maybe I want to be a landscaper. Maybe I want to be out there slinging plants and touching plants, and you know what I mean? Instead of filing papers and stapling them, And so we can slow down and carefully consider each aspect of our lives. We can consider our love life. Is your love life where you want it to be? If it's not, what would you like to change? What do you need to potentially communicate? The majority of people would rather die than talk to their partner on how to give them sexual pleasure to the degree and magnitude that they're capable of receiving it. And I find that ridiculous. And it's because I've just put up with it for 11 years. I don't want to hurt their ego. You know what I mean? But I think that we are very diverse beings. I think our sexual appetites can change over time. I think that it is perfectly okay to communicate and say, I would like to try this, or, I would like less of that. I used to enjoy it. Now I want something different, It's interesting to me how often we become tolerant of that which isn't working. And it's because we aren't really carefully considering it. Heather is very carefully considering her driving now. And I do that naturally when I'm around semis or motorcycle drivers, because I had an ex that died in a motorcycle accident. And I love semi drivers because they're bringing us the things that we are wanting to purchase. Let's not be an aggressive sedan next to a semi that's on the road their whole lives, mostly. You know what I mean? Let's be very safe with these individuals. But Heather gets to be safe with the sedans and the trucks and all the vehicles on the road, Heather. You know what I mean? It's like all the vehicles deserve safety. Everyone deserves to get home to their family. I certainly would have loved it if my mom had come home on the day that she had died. And so I'm considering, where do I need to slow down? So I'm slowing down with dating. And I'm first considering, is this person a person I'd want to be friends with? Based on tonight's date, I had a lovely time. Yeah, this two-legged is really interesting, and we are having fun, and cool, love it. And it's okay to slowly enter in, to not rush in like a fool. I'm considering this with my finances too. We tend to just quickly get paid, spend money, get paid, spend money, Money in, money out, money in, money out. But slow down. I now have my savings in a money market account. I have a massive chunk of savings because I pay my taxes at the end of the year as a 1099. So I put that in a money market account, and now I'm getting money back because I'm more slowly considering what am I doing with my money? Is there money sitting there that could be making me money? Yes, it can go in a high yield savings or a money market account. If you're going to have more than $2,500 in savings, that money should be making you money, So thank you, my dear friend Emily Ashley, for that tip. But I'm considering as well, as far as money goes, as far as my job goes, what is the energy output? What is it that I'm doing? Am I spending my money in ways that I want to? Do I need to be a little bit slower before I purchase this thing that I'm considering getting that used resources? Am I sure that I love it? I often will put things in a shopping cart, then it felt like I had them, and then I'll delete the shopping cart, close the page, and be like, well, that's fun. I had those I didn't have to actually touch them because I don't want to consume as much. In what ways in your life could it serve you to slow down and carefully consider the choices you're making and make sure it's aligned before you decide this is what I want. You can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine on YouTube. Like and comment there. I always love to hear your thoughts. Amun.